And in today's gospel reading from the 8th chapter of Mark, verses 27 through 30, we can almost hear the desperation in his voice, the hope that someone knows who he is and what he is about. I imagine him trying to cover up his fears by making the conversation seem as casual as possible. Jesus and his disciples on their way to Caesarea Philippi. And as they're ambling along, he carelessly asks, "So guys, what's the word on the streets? What are people saying about me?" And one of the disciples says that some people think that he's another John the Baptist, which probably means that Jesus has a charismatic personality. He preaches a mean sermon, and like John the Baptist, he is noted for insulting the religious establishment. Another disciple points out that he's heard people compare Jesus to Elijah, a former big-time prophet and miracle worker. All very flattering. But no one seemed to have really been able to move beyond the surface. Kind of the way most members of the LGBT population feel when they are reduced to nothing more than how they have sex. Like most people, we would like to think we are more than that. We would hope that we have left some kind of imprint on this world after we have left it, one that is more lasting than what takes place behind bedroom doors. So Jesus probes a little further. Okay, maybe it's understandable that the crowds don't know him as he would like to be known, but hopefully his own disciples do. And so he continues the conversation saying, "But you know better, don't you? Who do you say that I am?" And Jesus' eyes light up when Peter responds by saying, "You are the Messiah." Thank goodness. Apparently, Peter and the others had gotten it. But no sooner does Jesus breathe a sigh of satisfied relief than his bubble is burst when Peter rebukes Jesus later on for talking about his future suffering. You see, Peter got the right answer, but unfortunately he didn't understand the full implications of that answer. Peter was looking for a God who is like the big brother who beats up all the schoolmates who have been picking on you during recess. How could a suffering Messiah be considered good news? Peter was looking for a Messiah who was going to shake up the world, not one who was going to shake him up. It was everyone else that needed fixing, not Peter. And yet this is who Jesus was. Jesus was the herald of a new world view. In this new way of looking at things, it is love that fixes things, not power and might. In this spiritual realm, God is more pleased with compassion and mercy than with ritual and sacrifice. In this heavenly dominion, we are all brothers and sisters. No insiders and no outsiders. Everyone a family member, including the Roman authorities, including the Samaritans and Syrophoenicians, including the members of the other political party, including the church that protests against everything that you may hold as right and true, including all of us. Today's religious rhetoric can really be reduced to, "He's my Jesus." No, he's my Jesus. And yet I wonder if any of us understand him. I wonder if any of us will ever understand him. We've got the advantage of written gospels, and we still have little more understanding of who Jesus is or was than did Peter and the rest of the disciples. We are so intent on creating God in our own image and molding the personality of Jesus into one that appeals to us that we have most certainly lost sight of who he was and who he is. What would happen if we opened ourselves to the parts of Jesus that are unattractive? The parts that go against our grain. The behavior that disturbs us. The words that would offend us if he were to speak to them to us today. Instead of writing them off, ignoring them, or explaining them away, what would happen if we allowed him to make us uncomfortable? Instead of labeling him as the Prince of Peace, words that he never used to describe himself, mind you. What would happen if we tried to understand what he meant when he said, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the world. I have not come to bring peace." Are we like Peter, who are looking for a Jesus to fix our problems by waving a magic wand and beating up all the schoolyard bullies in our lives? Or are we willing to embrace a suffering Messiah? One who says, if we want to be his follower, then we have to deny ourselves. One who teaches us by example to get down on our knees and wash the dirty feet of other people, even those who would betray us. I think it was on that night, it was Jesus' hope that the ones he called his disciples had finally gotten it. I think it was his hope that they were beginning to catch on. And so he gave them symbols, bread and wine, to remember him by. He said, "Please don't forget me. Remember me." I believe that Christ is revealed to each of us in the way that we most need Christ at that particular moment in our lives. May God bless that revelation. And may you never forget him. May you always, always remember him, not as others have described him, but as you have personally experienced him. Amen.